Allard's neighborhood. Small town feel with big time ideas. After all, you are entitled to Brad's opinion. Here's your host, Brad Allard.
Well, hello everybody. Another great week started. It's not quite as hot. I have to start off with some bad news. The mayor said he will not be singing for us today, unfortunately.
Not a cappella, okay? I might hum a few bars. That's about all you're going to get.
You strike me as a Merle Haggard kind of guy.
I'm waiting to hear the judge and Victoria sing a duet.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, they'll be on Friday. They're going to be talking about more or less the same thing we're talking about, which is this bond coming up. I want to talk about other elections as well. And are you going to be bold enough to give us a prediction on the presidential election?
I don't.
I got you. I
don't have a problem with that in the world. I'm just amazed at what's going on.
I am too, and it's. I wouldn't say it's entertaining unless you have a real sick sense of humor. But anyway, we're going to talk about this Johnson County bond because it's an important bond. We're growing so fast. Alex Phillips is on commenting when Victoria was here last week, and he was telling us that we're like the fifth growing fastest county in this area. And I thought, man, these other counties must be blowing up. Turns out, over in East Dallas area, Kaufman and over those areas over there are growing just as fast, or Parker County.
Yes.
But we're growing like a weed also.
This area also has the number one fastest growing county, too. So it's competition for our roads and stuff like that with other counties.
So we're going to be talking about that because there's a lot of money at stake at this. And sooner or later, we're going to confront having to deal with this because it's
here.
And it's not going to be cheaper anytime soon, is it?
It's here.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah. I mean, what is it? You've been mayor since, 2020? You've probably seen the last close to 5 years now as much growth as we've ever experienced. Or close to.
We had a lull. Building is off just a little bit right now, but that's going to crank back up. And with the developments that, Cleburne's going crazy on apartments. Joshua's going crazy on apartments. Those are high density, and most of those people work in Fort Worth, so they're driving through Burleson.
Yes, and it's even the back ways are getting crowded, and so we'll talk about all these roads, and the issues involved. We'll talk also about another election that's hardly had any publicity at all, and that is about the liquor store in Burleson routine. And, I haven't heard any pro or anti-movement about that at all. It's one of the most low-key.
We can talk about this, too. It's a communication problem. We don't have a newspaper anymore. I've tried to get Cleburne to make it the Johnson paper, and I'm not getting any feedback on that.
Well, that's what we're here for. Hopefully, Mr. Allard's neighborhood can help you with some of that. My reach is maybe not as extensive as Star Telegram, but we'll do what we can. Actually, I did see an article in the Star Telegram about, I think, the bond. But I can't remember. I don't subscribe to the Star Telegram.
I'm not sure, but I think we have legal notices we have to do.
Right.
And I think the county has to do the same thing.
Well, let's talk about the sponsors because they make all this possible, and then we're going to jump right into all the fun stuff.
Get it.
Our place, as always, a great place. How many times we all eat in there. Also at Gina's Pizza. They got a lot of stuff going on over there. He's making that into a nice little entertainment venue. The pizza's really good, but they also on Sunday nights they have, music acts. Last night they had Reagan James on, which I thought was really nice. So it's a great place to go. I like to go there when it's not quite as crowded, so I can have a beer and a pizza and watch the ball game, whatever. So
that's you and me.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We don't like it loud no more.
No, we don't. As older we get, it's like, I want a place I could think, and whatever else. We're not 25 years old.
Take a nap.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to look over there and see you asleep.
No, well, okay. Thanks a lot. Wild Cigar, also. They got a lot of stuff going on. 25th, they got a debut, so to speak. One of the major vendors is bringing out a whole nother line of cigars, and they chose Wild Cigar to be the place to bring it out. So come by at the 25th. They do all that stuff around the college football games, and we won't talk about the Cowboys. But anyway, so Wild Cigar, great place of community activists. They do a lot of good stuff. They usually are almost always could be counted on to donate or their time or something for nonprofits. Speaking of which, nonprofits, I saw this gentleman twice on Thursday. I think I did my civic duty. The BOF breakfast and then the Next Step Women's Center. And we were there for.
Isn't that cool?
It was nice. They both were very nice. They do a great job. Megan does a really great job with that Next Step Women's Center, putting on that giving gala, and then
that speaker was amazing.
Right.
They had a baby doctor. I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. And the type of surgeries they do in the womb, open heart surgery in the womb, spinal bifida. They have cures for that now in the womb.
You know, it's amazing. And then you look at the Opportunity Fund breakfast, you know, and Lori Dias did a fantastic job with
It's
that
going to be
breakfast.
tough to replace her.
You know, when at the last meeting we had, you know, they said, you know, who's going to take her place? Everybody's, oh, look at the time. You know, I start looking at the floor. Oh, I got to go. And
That is
the
a
mayor goes,
no-win.
oh,
That is a
the mayor's
no-win
calling me. And the governor's calling me. I need to go talk to Greg. How you doing?
That job is a no-win situation for somebody. So I hope I'm not killing our possibilities.
No, we all understand. Also, welcome back, Gayla Moores over at the Southern Gym. It's Christmas time, as you know, because, you know, Christmas is not just on December 25th. It's half the year practically. But anyway, they got a lot of stuff going on in November and December. They're going to be opening up extra hours pretty soon. Not in October, but usually getting close to Thanksgiving, they start opening up a little later. And then like the month of December, they open on Mondays as well. So they're going to be double timing it. You know, my wife will be working a lot of hours, but they got some really good deals going on over there. So, you know, they have some of the nicest inventory around here, and I get surprised just how far people will drive to it. You know, it's not just your local lady jeweler. She calls herself. I mean, they're coming in from Hillsborough, Granbury, Mansfield, all over, and so.
Well, there's a trust factor in there. You give somebody to get your jewelry cleaned up, heirlooms and stuff like. You need to know who you're dealing with.
It's exactly right, and they take it pretty seriously. There's Alex. I guess he's confused. He called it as gentleman. Good morning, gentleman, but whatever.
He's just sucking up right now.
Yeah. Also, thank you to our friends over at our All Pro Roofing. You know, I hear there's a rumor that sometime next year it might rain. You know, it's the last time it's rained around here. But anyway, this is the time to get your roof inspected, particularly before winter, because if we do have one of those winter storms and your roof is not in good shape, it's a bad time to find out. And also the fact is that the insurance companies are being a lot more difficult about these things. So you need to know the status of your roof. So call John Williams over at 817-734-2756. He'll come check your roof out and he'll tell you the truth. He'll tell you you're good to go or if you need some repairs. And with the doubling the deductible on roofs, you see that on insurance?
We've been there.
Yeah, 2% now instead of 1%. I mean, it's going to be an expensive habit. So have them check it out. Also, tomorrow I'm going to have Jeff Kelly on. We're going to talk about real estate in Burleson and the change in rates, if that's done anything. Also, what properties he has, what he would look for. Call him at 817-781-0546 or Jeff at jeffkellyrealty.com and hook up with him. And if you're looking to move into this area or around this area, good man to call. He knows his real estate. So we'll find out more tomorrow about what's going on in the real estate business. And our old friend returns, Tiffany Griffin with Local Life. We have her magazine right here. She was here last week talking about her Halloween pub crawl. We got that going on as well. Halloween pub crawl on, find the date, October 26th. It's Saturday. I knew it was a Saturday, just find the date. October 26th, from 1 to 8 in Old Town. You know, the tickets are on sale for gentlemen, $25, or with the I'm Here to Party ticket for $50 to get a T-shirt, commemorative glass, all this stuff. Which one are you going to buy?
Here to Party. What do you think?
Yeah, okay, Here to Party.
That's over at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, Here to Party. That's what you're known for. That's what they call you, is the party. Yeah, well, there's a
the
QR
get down
code.
Man. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to. I can't even imagine that. But the QR code will take you to where you want to go and check it out. And it's always a great deal. There's going to be a contest for the best costume, whatever. Now that I run through all those, let's talk about this here bond. You know, the truth of the matter is, and this is what you and I talked about before the show, how frustrated you were, is the word hasn't gotten out much. Because honestly, a week ago Sunday's the first time I heard about it. When I, messaged with Victoria about her show coming up the next day. What do you want to talk about? Oh, the bond. I go, uh-oh, what bond? And a lot of people don't know that on the ballot there's going to be a bond for the whole county about money set aside for transportation. So tell us what we need to know about all this.
Oh, that's
a lot, right?
Where do you start? I mean,
Well, I know how allergic you are to bonds. So for you to be supporting it, there must be a need for it. You know,
there really is. And I'm going to give a little history on this. The county has never done a bond, and it really wasn't on their radar to do it this time. I'm on the Tarrant Regional Traffic Coalition, and that's mayors, commissioners, judges, and the executive director of that, Tom Vandergriff, which is Victor Vandergriff, which is Tom's Vandergriff's son. Tarrant lost some funding for roads. And Tarrant is mindful that they're connecting counties like Parker and Johnson is pertinent to their growth, especially on the west side. The south side is getting that way. The roads are really important. Well, 35 is clogged up. 174 is clogged up.
yes, it is.
30 is clogged up. Going into the counties is all clogged up. He says, we can't do anything in Tarrant because we lost our funding, but we can help you. He said, you need to go to Parker County and see how they're doing this bond package with the matching federal funds. And that was literally eye-opening. When they did their first run at this about 3 or 4 years ago, the way they marketed it, the whole thing, they had nearly a 70% approval rate. And there's several things. This isn't a new concept. I'm not coming in saying, oh, I came up with a great idea. This is already proven. They are already doing their second bond package on this, and it's pretty phenomenal. The process starts out with a county master plan, which our county has never had a master plan. The county master plan done by Freese and Nichols, the same group that did Parker County, they come in, create the master plan, knowing what the federal government looks at to give matching funds. So the things that they want to see, let's step down to the TxDOT and the North Central Texas Council of Government, of which Victoria is on the executive board of the COG, the North Central Texas Council of Government. They tell TxDOT what to do to a point. Okay, they're the final approval entity of where these projects go. So we go to, this is really hard to explain because you step over here to get this done, then you have to step over here. So the first thing you do is get a master plan. The master plan, Freese and Nichols, is created with considerations of the city's master plan. Burleson's master plan is looked at and tied into an overall plan to the rest of the county. How do we interact with other towns? How do we get somebody on higher density roads this way or that way? And what do we have? Okay, good, Taylor. Let's go to, there's a map up there that shows red dots or red images of the density levels in the county. Keep going.
Well, I think that's...
is that the only one you got? Are you on the website or on the...
No, he's using the brochure you handed us. But, but there is he has the website. We looked it up last week.
If you scan that QR code, you'll go to the county's situation. Here we go. Okay, there's one over there that shows the density areas in Johnson County. And when you look at that, Burleson and Cleburne are bright red. That is what we're trying to alleviate. We can do that by several different directions. Dobson Road, which goes into a road that will be Hewlin at some point in time, that's on this project. We are trying to get traffic up to the
Dobson Road. That's 714, right? Is that
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah, it's the road by Russell Art Farm. That's why a lot of people know it as.
Well, it turns and goes to the right over the railroad track, and then it goes by Russell Farm.
Right.
Yes.
I use that route to get to the other side of town quite often because it's so crowded on Wilshire.
Correct. We're also trying to get roads up to the toll road, which we've got a stock tank under a railroad on Hewlin. You know where I'm talking about?
I do.
So that's on this project. When these projects, and then they're all over. There's 917. Alvareda's got their issues. Joshua's got a railroad crossing that it just inhibits them unreal. So you take all of these projects and you add them up, it's going to take you about $60 million to get these things jump-started.
That's just to get the studies and the prep work done, more or less.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. Now the prep work. So you bingoed on something.
Right.
And this is a lot of stuff. And I know there's no way. I want to stop right here and give kudos to Dan McClendon and Victoria Johnson for being on the steering committee. They've got answers for you. Jennifer with Public Works for the county, she's going to be available to you. We're working on right now. I talked to Jennifer at the county, and we're going to do a Facebook Live, and we're going to advertise that and get that out there. This is strictly informational. I've had people against this, but when you talk to them, they have it's a bond. Right. That's when you get marked as a bond, you've got crosshairs on you.
Right. They get these ideas that's going to ratchet up their tax rate, but you're on this brochure you handed us that for the average homeowner in Johnson County, it'll raise your taxes about $25, okay, or about $2.08 a month.
Let's go to the extreme. If you got a $300,000 home, it's 1 cent per 100. Okay, that's $30 a year to get all of this started. Now, you said it's just the prep work.
Right.
So let me tell you how the matching funds work. The matching funds is the federal government. The bond is to prep these jobs. That includes engineering, that is purchasing the right-of-ways, that is moving the utility poles, and that's also doing the EPA study. Now, why is that shovel-ready?
Well, Alex is mentioning that there's going to be an information table at the chamber luncheon.
Yes,
this week.
That's this week. This week. Thanks, Alex. And I know you're not sucking up. So, yes, she's going to be there. Alex is going to give economic development report to the chamber, and also talk about her being there. This is huge for every town. So when you talk about 1 cent, this is going to pay for the setup for roads. And it's not existing TxDOT roads. This is roads that, let's take Hewlin for example. We had a talk with TxDOT. This is a regional road. This road can get traffic over to the toll road. It can get traffic to developments up there, the whole thing. Well, your traffic count isn't good enough. But we're in a catch-22.
Right.
We got a water hole under a railroad that we have to shut the entire bridge down to use. If we fix the bridge, our count goes up.
I know exactly that bridge you're talking about because it's a kind of an odd angle in it, and it's low in the ground, and it's very narrow and very short. I mean, so you're not going to be able to get commercial vehicles through there at all. You can barely
they actually do, but they know they can't get a reefer through there.
Right. You can't get semi through there.
That's right.
Yeah.
So all of this is mute because it's not useful. And when it rains, we chain it, and I am just absolutely amazed at the individuals that cut the chain and go anyway. And it happens. This is not just traffic flow, but it's also protecting people that doesn't have any brains. Sorry.
No, that's true. I mean, if the road's blocked and you get around it, then you're taking your own life in your own hands.
So we go through that. We get all this stuff done. Here's the issue. We get reimbursed for all these 4 items that we're going to do. So why is it shovel ready? You get TxDOT has construction ready to go. If a project hits a bump or they don't get their 4 items done, they can't go to work. So a lot of times they're looking for projects to do. Parker County knew this and they were getting all 4 items done, and they were getting jumped over us to get their project because they're saying, oh, we're ready. We're ready for your shovel. You don't have to do anything. Come build your road. Okay? That's where we're at. When I became mayor, I was told that engineering was shovel ready.
That takes a couple of years, doesn't it?
It depends on the project.
Yeah, but
this bridge is going to take a while.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're going to be disrupting a lot of traffic and rail traffic, right?
Yes.
And so...
No, we will not. The railroad will not allow that.
I kind of was... And when I said it, I thought, that ain't going to happen.
The railroad has got the most protection of any entity in the United States, all the way back to the 1800s when they started getting this stuff. It's still locked in. They dictate these intersections, okay? Period. They've got a lot to lose. So I guess I understand that. No, I don't. So anyway, that's where we're at on this stuff. When you look at our traffic flow, and my conversation with the judge was, if we don't do this, if the towns don't start working together, and we get half of the projection that the state is saying we're going to have, I cannot tell you the mess that we're going to have.
Well, after Victoria's show, I had a couple of messages or conversations on message about the bond. One was the expense, which I hope we addressed. You know, it's really not going to, for me in my house, it'd be about $35 a year. And as much as I use those county roads, because when I go to Cleveland, I use 917, or when I go to HEB or somewhere on the other side of town, I take 714, which is that road's beat to pieces, and they're having a big development out there. One of the things that one of my respondents asked about was, will this finally take care of Wilshire and all that? I said, no, that's a different deal. This is in the county. And
see, I had a conversation the last 2 days about something on that too. It's not on this bond package. But there's a possibility, and I'll discuss that in a minute. Okay.
Well, but my point with this, my respondent was, well, he was like, well, if it's just going to be like in Cleveland and Joshua, why do I care? I said, do you know how much traffic comes through Burleson from Cleveland and Joshua? I mean, we need to do something to find alternative routes to where they're going, so maybe it'll alleviate some of that problem on Wilshire. You get past around, I don't know, Summercrest, Walmart. It's stop and go traffic all the way until you get past John Jones and the HEB. And even then, you see what's coming from Joshua and Cleveland, it's backed up almost to the next light. And so I was telling him, I said, this is important because, it's like, so it won't widen Wilshire immediately, but it may take some of the pressure off of it at a certain point. That's what was the point I was making with him.
And we're getting up more lanes on Wilshire. So
I know that's
in the last week, I've been really disappointed in the fact that this has not been out there, okay? So I've been working with Jennifer, Judge Bedecker, and also Freeze Nichols, Chris Bosco. And the more we talk, the matching federal funds pays for the road. It's not unlimited. It's not like we're going to get, it goes up to like 10 times the amount of their project.
So it's not dollar for dollar, but actually more than dollar.
No, because we don't get just a blank check.
Right.
Whatever we spend on this and the project, federal will take care of it.
But this is a multi-year project as well.
Oh, yeah. This is long-term because some of this engineering hadn't even started yet.
Right.
But, and it's also, to be up front, you don't know if the federal government's going to give you the money.
That's true.
But if you go down every step the way they want it, and with the fact that Victoria will be the president of the COG in about a year and a half, we got a high percentage of getting what we need. And let me tell you about the COG. Our city manager right now came from Waxahachie, okay?
Okay.
And I'm trying to learn how I use my relationships with other mayors and these judges. Judge Whitley's been amazing for me. But and Mayor North Richland Hill, Oscar Trevino, they have taught me so much. But I'm talking to Tommy about Waxahachie. When their mayor was president of the COG, that's when they got all their roads. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have got the possibility of a 4 or 5 year run with Victoria being on that COG and stepping up as the president of the COG. And then you turn back around and we got our Mayor Pro Tem, Dan McClendon, that knows these roads, knows construction, and been here for a long time. He's on that same steering committee, and those two have taken time out of their days to be on this and get this done. So I'm proud of them. So let's go. I've had a conversation. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, it's the floor is yours. You need to get the word out.
I've had a conversation with a couple of people that's very adamant against this. And I looked at it, and I kind of, well, if you just look at the map, you see a red dot over here for the bridge, and over here you see the intersection on Dobson where it turns right over the railroad track. There's a circle on that, and there's engineering being done on that. The bridge is $30 to $40 million. So whatever everybody else's project was, it's going to be overshadowed by that project. Okay, so I can understand that. Dollar-wise, we're getting everything we need. But here is the thing that I brought up to Freeze and Nichols and to the county. We are doing a master plan showing the traffic projects we need, okay? Well, because Burleson got started a little quicker, we have some bonded projects also. And so I posed the question to him today, when do you apply for the federal funds? He says, after all of this is done and everything, that's when we apply for it. Is it tied to the bond election, or is it any bonded job? And they said, I don't know. And I said, can we put our Wilshire, our Lakewood, and our Renfro on that? And they're checking it out.
Okay.
If this is any bonded job in the county can apply for it and reimburse us.
That'd be good because, we've been talking about that many times on your appearances here about the traffic issues. Victoria says this, Dan says this, that seems to dominate a lot of y'all's conversations on the city council.
It really is. And the thing that I like about it, the legwork's getting done. I know that Renfro, TxDOT has already been buying the right-of-way. That's already purchased up, I believe, or really close. Mm-hmm. I know that it's been funded. So TxDOT will get reimbursed for this. Mm-hmm. So we have possibilities to get more out of this than just what's on this paper.
I'd also tell the vast listening audience, this is not going to come without pain and inconvenience, because if they, because I use that Dobson Road a lot, and and the train, it's a 45-degree angle turn practically. You go to the end of Dobson and turn onto that railroad crossing. And if they're going to try to fix all that and make it, more accessible,
TxDOT is really good about
but they're going to shut it down,
understanding
right?
that. Yeah. Well, you think about Centennial.
Yeah, right.
Everything dumped on that. Renfro all the way out. That's going to be I'm trying not to think about 4-lane with turning lanes.
Well, we need them because I tell you, with all the construction out there, and also a lot of businesses are placing their locations out there because Johnson County's cheaper taxes and such. I bet every day I drive down it, there's at least 1 or 2 semis on it, and I never saw that before until the last couple of years. So I blame the mayor when I drive. And just,
which one? Which one?
Actually, I blame Biden. It's just easier that way. It's all his fault. Interesting you mentioned about the national election. About would this impact us here? In this particular regard, the answer is actually yes, because Trump has said that they would try to cut through all the regulations it takes to get construction projects off the ground. And then Harris goes, hey, me too, which I'll wait to see that happen.
Well, the difference is Trump can explain how and she can't.
Well, I just thought that was kind of funny because he brought that up a couple of weeks ago, and then she comes out with a speech saying we need to, decrease all the red tape and regulation and the length of time it takes to get something built. I'm like, but it's your administration that did it, so why are we talking about this? But anyway, that's my national politics comment for today.
Regulation is killing. I'll tell you the one that I'm worried about too is the fact that there's a bill to increase the truckload from 80,000 to 90,000. We're having problems with our asphalt in the county and the ETJ roads.
Right.
Those are asphalt. They're failing under 80,000, and the truckers, they send our DPS to the border, and they're the ones that check for overweight trucks. Okay. Kenny Howe's got a facility with a scale on it, and DPS brings them out there and uses that. They're not here. They're on the border.
And it's the same thing with 917 or going all the way to Old Renfro Road to 917. It's getting beat up because a lot of truckers are using that route to get to 35, and then you get to that intersection of 917 and 35, and it's backed on both sides, way back. And the problem is not, it does damage the center of the road, but it narrows the road because those wheels start eating up the shoulder, and they come over and over, and that's a major rebuild to get that fixed up. So it is a little harder to get around than it used to be. And, people, the old timers, and I guess I'm an old timer, can remember when that wasn't the issue. But that's going to be one of the side effects of the growth, which I think on the whole has brought tremendous benefits to Burleson. But it does not come free, and it doesn't come without these kind of inconveniences. I was kidding with Colin Gregory last week. Said, how does anybody get a speeding ticket in this town? Because between the stoplights and the trucks and the old ladies, it's hard to get a good head of steam up.
The old ladies are speeding too. What are you talking about? They're passing you. What are you doing?
Those old Mercuries, I don't know about that. Those old Cougars.
I want to pay for that comment.
Yeah, I know.
I might have to change churches now.
No, I doubt it. Oh, no. There's no old ladies at your church.
I'm surprised we're not getting any questions.
There probably will be the questions afterwards, like I get. That's what happens. Is most people watch this on their time.
Yes.
And so they'll watch this tonight, tomorrow, whatever. And that's when sometimes I get the messages saying, well, why didn't you ask this? Or were you able to talk about that kind of thing? And
well, when you have questions, ask Mayor at Burleson TX or, D. McClendon at BTX.
Well, I know you return all the calls on your
everybody does. I just get most of them, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, that's because you basically run the town, and but it's like but the thing about this construction, it's like like I said, I had this conversation. It's like they thought it was just we're going to be voting on something that benefit only Cleburne or Joshua. I'm like, no, this county is. This isn't like the county was 30, 40 years ago. We're a whole lot more interconnected than we used to be. With all this growth, everybody growing, and you mentioned about the apartment complexes. I haven't been in Cleburne in a little while because I've not had a class over there in about a year. But I do notice in Joshua. And
they're throwing apartments up fast, and they're revenue generating for a city. They really are. And I'll get in trouble on this, but I don't have a problem with high density if it's next to 35 after it gets the lanes. I mean, our 35 and 174 intersection is a nightmare at times.
It can be tough, right?
It can. And that's the only place that is not 3 lanes between Alvarado and here, and they're starting in Alvarado coming this way.
Right, and that's another one. Your Harvest House says, okay, I'll bite. Any word on the controlled intersections on 174 with the left turn lanes being protected only?
That'll be a function of TxDOT. They kind of control that right now. We'll be taking it over, but the lights are going to help on that. I don't know if it'll ever be. I don't know if it's got the room for a protected left. It would be strictly by the numbers on that.
Where exactly are they talking about? Because I see protected left lanes. On 174. But are they talking about somewhere other than?
They are protected lanes.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of confused. I mean, they're left turn lanes getting onto Newton Street or onto Summercrest or into the Walmart or whatever.
Oh, and they sent it in without their names either. They use the company name.
Well, I know who it is. So it's a friend. It's a friend.
Tell us where about on 174.
Yeah, because I'm trying to, in my head, I know there's protected lanes, on John Jones, Office 74. There's not past John Jones, if that's what they're talking about, going into Joshua, but between the highway and John Jones, by the Tiger Mart and Target and all that, I know there's protected left turn lanes.
Yeah.
With green arrows and all that. So
big wide medians so you can't see around the other car.
Yeah, well, you remember back in the day we didn't have those medians, and it was like, taking your life in your own hands. It was pretty dangerous. So I know when they put in those medians, there's some grumbling and mumbling, but I thought it's the Wild West on 174 if you want to turn left and that kind of thing. So I think it wasn't that bad. But as far as the word getting out, are there any other opportunities? I know that on my show Friday, I have Victoria and Judge Bedecker.
Yes.
There's my friend. There's Mr. Roper. Sorry, that was me, mostly Renfro. We see Rex every week by the resale store. Okay, now that's what he's talking about. Okay, I guess more getting rid of the blinking yellow. That's what he's talking about. I knew that was Garrett when.
Okay, I understand. You wanted to protect the turn lane.
Yeah.
That really is. I saw a car hit so hard at Hillary and Wilshire that the car wound up on the access road facing the other direction.
Good grief. Did they survive that?
Yes, they survived.
Holy moly.
I'm telling you what, those are dangerous intersections. So maybe you're right, Garrett.
Yeah, I just remember before the medians it was a problem. And then they came in and some people, I remember they were hollering and yelling about medians and why did the mayor do this? And it's like, a lot of that road is out of your control, isn't it? And so
I can't answer that. I know that we do the engineering to get their attention. I don't know if we did the engineering. I don't know if there was aesthetics involved.
What I believe it came in your predecessor, and from what I understand is they were told this is happening more than
I can see that.
Than it was something that we initiated ourselves.
I can see that.
And and as far as the wrecks on that intersection of Renfro and Wilshire is, you got to have your head on a swivel, as they say. You can look both ways, definitely. But but Victoria is also talking about not just the county, but Hidden Creek and Renfro. They all need repairs, and it just like this is just a symptom of a growing community.
The way the bond is set, our bond on our projects, they go for infrastructure. If we could get the federal money to pay those bonds off, we could possibly turn back around and put that money on Hidden Creek.
All right, Alex says the median project was a grant award and landscaping was part of it. Okay, well, good. All right, well, Alex, I'll ask, was those medians, this is a long time ago, was this something that we initiated or TxDOT initiated? I'll ask you that question because I'd heard that basically we were told we had to do something about those medians one way or the other, that we may have done the work and everything else, but what I was told was that we had no choice really but to do something about that.
To get anytime you have a grant, it comes with stipulations.
But they said you're going to have to do something about that median because it's dangerous. Because everybody turning left or whatever, get in the middle lane. Sometimes you get some knucklehead that wants to try to pass grandma and get in the middle, turn lane to do it and that kind of thing. It gets to be. To
me, it's a visibility problem. The median at the turn itself is so wide, you can't see around the other vehicle.
Okay, well, that's just interesting. But there's anything else you want to talk about on this? Okay, because also the day before the election, November 4th, that Monday, Victoria's going to be here. You want to come for that too?
It's y'all's call. Victoria.
No. She'll be more glad to have you here. Yeah.
If y'all want me here, let me know. Y'all talk about it then.
All right. Well,
I'm here if you need me.
It's my show, boss. I could do what I want. No, she will have.
It's Victoria. You sure you want to go down that road?
She'll have no problem.
Victoria, that was Taylor. Okay.
All right.
So I'll be here if you want me to.
I will. I'm sure it'll be fine. But it's also being the day before the national election. Of course, we have early election starting next week. Do you vote early?
It wouldn't bother me if I did or not. No, we haven't this time.
Well, it starts the 21st and goes for 2 weeks. And I always liked voting on Election Day because I thought it was a great thing. The National Election Day. It's the most American thing there is. It's the one thing we all do together or should be doing together. And you go down, my precinct's Cana Baptist, and you go down and you see your neighbors and you see all the stuff going on with it. I thought it was a great day. However, Robin works at the jewelry store till about 5:30 on Tuesdays, and she really didn't want to stand in line after standing on her feet all day. So we go vote early now to accommodate that.
I think we're going to too, because this is going to be a huge election.
In so many ways. So,
yes.
But let's segue to a second election I have seen nothing about, and that is about liquor stores in Burleson. And I didn't expect it to be, one of those divisive upheavals, but I thought it'd be some signs out, or I haven't even seen Facebook posting saying vote yes or no. Personally, I can't vote in that because it's a city election. I will be voting for the bond. I know that much. But my personal opinion is we need this because it would help our restaurants quite a bit, and the tax base as well. Now, I know people they'd have concerns about, what kind of establishments would move in here, but I have to think Specs and Total Wine and other major market lines would just go crazy to put a store in here.
Well, we've got one local individual that instigated this, and he has plans to put in for the restaurant situation. For people out there that don't realize this, but restaurants have to buy their liquor, their alcohol, within the county. And the only place that is really available to them is the one in Alvarado, and they sell at retail price only.
And if he doesn't carry it, you're not getting it, because I've talked to Chris and Nathan over at Wild Cigar, and they get requests for certain types of whiskey or certain types of tequila, and if that guy doesn't carry it, you're not getting it. And the penalty of trying to get around that by saying, like bootlegging practically, you get buying something and putting it on your shelf, they'd shut them down. The alcohol folks in Austin would shut them down, so they don't even risk it. There's some sort of stamp involved in all this, and they'll get these spot checks from TABC, and if they don't have stamps on their bottles, then they could be heavily fined or suspended. Yeah. So there's no trying to sneak stuff through the back door. So we need this for that, and even say, well, I don't drink. So great for you, but the restaurants you go to serve it, and if it helps, Otto get beer a little cheaper over at Gina's, or the guys over at Station 330, or the guys at Fresco, you fill in the blank, it'd be helpful, And just the reaction I've seen with people about that Specs opening up. But you're telling me they may put that on pause if we pass this thing. Is that right?
I'm hearing that. I hadn't been by to check. I don't really care.
If they pass it, they may want to sell that spot and move to Burleson.
Well, when you consider, I was told by the person that was wanting to do this here that it's $1.4 million a month in sales.
And you get a piece of that, right? That we need it.
Both ways. They have to pay sales tax when they purchase, and also a mixed drink.
Right. And so we need it because, we all the expenses we talk about, we've been talking about roads.
That's another conversation we'll have in a little bit.
Okay. But, we talk about the need for revenue.
That's it.
Yeah, there's roads, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it on their meetings on the stream. People come in and they're making requests, and they're like, that's nice. We support you. God bless you. Go and be warm and filled. And, because, it's going to be tough to make that happen. But I think it needs to be done. And I think you all have a pretty good handle on it. I know you've already laid the groundwork for, if this does pass, that there's going to be certain parameters to the business.
It is. So you're not going to have little mom and pop liquor stores all over the place. And it's a security issue. We looked at that. Safety issues with the fire protection in the building, size. It's not going to be easy to get a position.
Right. And people, I did read complaints, say, well, you're trying to drive out small business. Well, the point is, if you do have a lot of these small mom and pop liquor stores, I bet the police would have something to say about that because of the security issues.
And that's why we looked at it. We really did. I'm a small business owner, ex-small business owner. I don't want to ever deter them from having a potential of the American dream. But here's the thing. Liquor and malt store combinations typically have issues.
Right. And also another, I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and they said, well, I know what you're saying, but I don't want to walk into Walmart and see liquor being sold there. And I told him, and the listeners may not know this, that's a state law. If you ever see, it's nothing you have anything to do with. So if they change the state laws.
That's it.
Yeah. Then, you may see liquor at Walmart, but it has nothing to do with Burleson. Or if it's a wet town or wet county, you're going to see it. You were mentioning about your trip to Hawaii and you saw it there. I remember walking into, many years ago, my wife and I were in Chicago, and we walked into a department store, and they had a really nice liquor selection. I'm like,
all behind locked glass.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't then, but it would be now. But
it is now.
But it was, but it just is, you're not used to seeing it. And you go into like the convenience stores, and they sold hard liquor, the CVS is there. And then people say, well, I don't want that here in Burleson. Well, you're not going to have it in Burleson unless, the Texas legislature changes their laws. And I do know that Walmart for the last 2 sessions has been pushing for that. And they keep getting beat, but sooner or later, who knows what's going to happen. So I guess I'm just trying to preempt any criticism that the council would get, because if Walmart gets permission, they're going to do it whether you like it or not, I'm afraid. So you
don't do a midpoint advertising anymore?
I'm sorry. No, I just try to do it the front one, because I'd like to not get out of the way, it makes it sound bad, but I like to have the guests have uninterrupted thoughts, so to speak. Do you need it? I can run them again.
No, that's okay. That's okay. No, I wanted to talk about the sales tax just for a minute.
No, you can talk about it. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the city is going through financial concerns too. We've cut back on a lot of stuff to protect things, and so I'm sitting here going, we need another revenue stream. And I came up with this idea. Being in business as long as I did, we always had 8.25% sales tax. And my company went all over the Metroplex. We went into Dallas and Fort Worth. And I remember where we had to separate every place we installed a door, we had to pay sales tax to that municipality. And I got to thinking about, if we could get the state to go up 1 cent, 9.25, and dedicated that just to public safety, that would be half of our budget. That would be $15 million with the history you have. And so I talked to other people. I even talked to our own council. They didn't, I don't think they really got it, but I was going to do a presentation. I talked to the mayors. They were kind of, until they ran the numbers. Joshua's public safety budget is $1 million. Okay? This would generate $100,000 for them for that. Now, that money that they in the general fund could go to something else, which in effect could reduce property tax rate if the council so choose. So with the feedback I had from all of this, I decided, I'm going to do the presentation to council, give them the whole story, because what I told them was I was just checking into this. So first thing I did, I called some of our reps and told them what I wanted to do and how it was going to work. Well, we get beat up anytime we do a tax. I said, but listen, which would you rather have? A tax that you are paying on something you don't have to have or don't want to have, but it's stretched out over the whole year? Or do you want somebody to tell you how much your property's worth and how much you owe and doing it a lump sum? So we talked. I won the individual, I'm not going to say his name, I won him over. He says, I can make this work. So he goes off and he talks to both sides, Republican and Democrats. He talked to a lot of people. And I'm at the meeting that is getting me ready for my presentation. He calls and I say, I got to take this call. Get on the phone with him. He said, everybody loves it. Everybody is like, this is great. Is this going to reduce your property tax rate? That's up to the city council. We're getting to a point where we might have to spend that money, but eventually we can offset that and probably get a property tax rate. Just being up front, not promising anything. I said, man, this is great. He said, well, here's the problem. Even though they like it, they won't vote for it.
Well, there's going to be a lot of pushback on it. If there's anytime you say the word tax increase, regardless of what the benefits or side effects are, people, I think that just their natural reaction is they're opposed to it because they do feel like, not just at the local level, but everywhere they go, they're being taxed. And they just feel like, and so you have to kind of go past that point and say, okay, I understand why you don't want to consider a tax increase, but here's what you need to understand. And I'm not in favor of every time raising taxes all the time, but taxes are part of making the community work.
Think about this though. That's 1 cent.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 cent on the dollar. Okay, that's $1 per 100 ticket.
Greg Cooper's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks, and
that guy has won me over.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, he'll have a lot to say about all these things. But he was going to be on like 2 weeks ago, and then he had dad duties. So unexpected, nothing serious, but basically had to pick up the kids.
You got to get him on a Monday or a Friday.
Yeah, and it was on a Monday, and he was.
He volunteers for everything at the school.
Yeah. Well,
he's a sucker, man. All he got to do is grunt, and he'll go, okay.
Wait till they get to high school, and then they'll go, okay, I've done my duty. But no, he'll be on a couple of weeks, and he'll explain a lot of this because he probably knows this about as well as anybody we know, and could tell you the benefits or the costs of
the property tax is what he's really, really strong on. He's really strong on the ISD policies.
Mm-hmm.
He's sharp. He reminds me of Dan Bongino.
Dan Bongino. Okay.
He's really, watch him, his mannerisms.
I haven't ever watched him. I heard him on the radio. I listen to mostly sports talk, but when they go to commercials, say, let's see what Dan's ranting about. So I throw it on there, and he's on to something.
We're showing our colors.
Yeah, I know. Well, this election has me concerned. And I understand why people are concerned about both candidates at the presidential level. But I've said this before, we cannot have a Democrat Senate because they are going to do stuff. If they get Democrats retain control of the Senate, they're going to do away with the filibuster and pass things that will have long-term negative effects.
I've got 2 nieces that hate Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand. I wish his rhetoric, I wish he'd calm down a little bit.
Exactly.
But, I'm not asking you to go on vacation with the guy. I'm asking you to pick somebody that can run the country. And my whole deal is I've hired people that didn't particularly care for them, but I knew they'd do a good job.
Well, Paige Roper Zapata, which is actually Garrett's sister, and Mayor Roper's daughter. You remember Mayor Roper, of course?
Oh, yeah.
People hear the tax increase and they quit listening. I think this is a great idea. I would gladly pay more in sales tax as opposed to higher property taxes. Well, there you go. I think that's a good idea. I want to finish off my conversation. I try to.
Thank you.
Most people know, I'm a pretty conservative voter. I understand why people would have a real pause about voting for Trump for what you just said because of the things he said and how he rants. But I also have concerns about Ms. Harris, getting in office and taking this country well past to the left where most of us are. So it's a
you
tough.
Can't go back.
Yeah, I know. It's really tough.
Venezuela is such a perfect example of things going bad. That country had it together. The richest country with natural resources. And one election ruined them.
Well, I just so people have to vote their conscience, and a lot of my students are going to be vote for Harris, and that's their right. And I don't really get on there and debate or argue or criticize them. I have some students who vote for Trump, and I don't really comment on that either, because people have to make up their own minds. But I just have concerns.
There's a lot of doctrination going on.
Yeah. I just have concerns about all of this, but I bet you're glad you're not on the ballot. You know.
I am.
Speaking of which.
Hush.
Yeah, okay. You know where I was going.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're a little late, but that's okay.
Oh, look at the time, he says. I got a meeting, Dan Patrick's calling me in 10 minutes. I got to go see whatever Dan wants this time. I know you're good friends with Roger Williams, right? I have no problems with him whatsoever. He's done okay for us, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
He's done fine.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember that at the city level, he's not here for us. I know one guy was mad because he didn't call him back.
Mm-hmm.
But what they vote on affects us, and that's obvious.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's rock solid on his beliefs.
Well, I never met him. I didn't know really much about him personally, but when Lisa Short says that he calls her up at least once a month just so they can pray together, thought I can understand that.
It's him.
Yeah.
It's him.
And I'm sure he would never advertise that, but when Lisa said that, I said, okay, there you go. Because I have such regard for Lisa, and there you are. All right, we're about done here. I am going to get you on the show on the 4th. Victoria she's going to be fine with it. All right, I don't know. She's off the air and on the air. She's been
force me on that, okay?
She's been very complimentary what things been going on in the council.
She's doing a great job. She has really done a great job. And she's already working the system like we need on the COG, and that's a tough gig. Takes a lot of her time up, and I'm proud of her. But Dan's doing a great job, too.
She's been, this is not just for, say nice things on the air. She's off the air. She's been very pleased with how the council's been working together lately in the last year and a half.
This is a great council. I tell you what, from left to right, everybody's got input. I've got, Adam and Larry. They are my brain trust on finances. I got Dan that knows the history and the quality and just amazing. And I got Victoria. Phil knows the schools, their needs. And Alexis now brings the real estate market to lets us know how that thing is and what we need to do.
And we don't have city elections in May, do we?
No, we don't have one.
and I'm not going any further than that because you don't want to talk yet. All right. And so anyway, you have the last minutes. Tell us what we need to know about this bond, about how we need to get out there and vote.
It's just very, very simple. And this is what I told the judge when right after I saw the presentation, I came back and said, you and I need to talk. Very, very simple. The state of Texas is still telling us we got over 150,000 people coming here. Parker County is getting 22 families a day. We're two of the largest, fastest growing counties going through. I'll tell you the one that needs to worry. Hood County's got 19,000 people in the whole county, and they're sitting between Johnson and Parker. They have no clue what's coming towards them from both sides. When I told the judge, Johnson County was known for the cities being at edge with each other all the time. Everybody is coming together. If we don't work together on our roads, if we don't blend our individual master plans into a county plan, it's going to be a nightmare. And that's exactly what Judge Bedecker and his commissioners have done with this master plan, and also being cost effective because we're going to be able to pay for a lot of this work through federal grant money. And we're using a company that's got a history of getting it done. I mean, we've hedged our bet in every area here. Now we just need to implement.
Well, I think it will pass, tell you the truth, because I don't see a lot of organized opposition to it. I think most people realize the need for it. We just need to get the word out, and hopefully
That's
today
the
we'll do
key,
it.
and we got a short time to do it.
We got a short time to do it, so we got at least 2 more shows going to do it, and I'll probably have some spare time on one of them. I can always bring it up. We're going to push the bond. We're going to keep the material you gave us together today. We're going to put it on the ad run, and just to remind people it's coming.
Everybody that's listening, please share it. When you see the Johnson County brochure or they've got a QR code you can click, please share it. Send it to everybody you know, because this is so important to the county overall.
And there it is. Well, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you coming by. I hope this works. Yeah, it's fun. It's been good to do this. And, I just realized that you and Colin Allred was from the same school. Yeah, it's been brought up before, yes.
Where are you, Taylor?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've had that brought up to me more than once. Our friend James Smiley was busted me up for that yesterday. Sunday school.
That's great.
Yeah, he's like, "Why don't you do something about that?" I'm like, what do you want me to do about it?
He's about this tall.
Yeah, he's an ex-NFL player. I mean, and the thing is, I remember him playing for Baylor, and he was a good ball player. I've noticed in his ads he never uses the word Democrat. Do you ever notice that? I mean,
most of them are doing that.
Yeah, I know. And then, they got a debate. I think Cruz and Allred have a debate a week from tomorrow. That ought to be entertaining. Really? Yeah. I don't know how many people will watch it, but we'll hear about it, I'm sure. Anyway, tomorrow, like I said, Jeff Kelly's going to come, and he'll probably talk about related things, because I'm sure, as a realtor, he has a pretty keen interest about the infrastructure of this county.
I tell you what, this bond package, realtors ought to be drooling all over themselves.
Yeah, probably.
This is going on to the west side and stuff of that nature with everything we've got going on.
Well, that would be helpful. Hopefully my friends over at Camco can get some of that mortgage action. So, and then, like I said, Friday, the Judge Bedeker and Victoria will be here. Next week, I don't even know what I got going on. I got so much going on. It's just it's a busy time. All right. I got another wise guy comment from my son on text. So there you go. When they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, my son's in a different orchard altogether. So
listen, I'm going to brag on my son. My brother on Sunday he left for Louisiana, and Louisiana got hit as hard as North Carolina, and they're not getting any press over it. So he has gone. He has gone to Louisiana to work with Samaritan's Purse.
Ah, yes. So, we do some stuff with them, too.
Yeah, good bunch. I'm proud of them.
Well, thank you. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, because we've got lots going on. It'll be noon tomorrow, because fall breaks over for DBU to go back. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.